In this video, I'm going to go over the installation and setup of the MAXX M4P hop-up unit. I like to call this the version 2 or like maybe 2.5 of the original MAXX hop-up unit. The only big difference is that it has this little nub for, I've noticed only G&G, or only works for G&Gs, but where this used to be a spring, this is now a nub that locks into newer G&G uppers. The other key difference is that it uses these little metal bricks, if you will. So instead of the traditional arm with the little, hold on, let me see if I can show, the little like cup on the opposite side of the spring, that little cup holds on to basically a, come on, go over here, minuscule nub. So I don't know if you can see that. It's just this little round rubber piece that fits right in that. Yeah, you get the idea. Little round piece fits right inside of the little nub, like so. Sorry, big thumb in the way. All right, that's not what we're here today about. So for today, going over this fine piece of metal. So in the box or in the package, you get 3 little baggies basically with 3 different options of hop-up tensioning, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. But the first one you get is the one I'm going to use. I don't remember exactly which one comes pre-installed on the unit, but from what I use personally is I use on the instructions, it's a 4mm concave. So it's about this from the side and then this from the front. So you see that little bend or concavity, looks like it wraps around the BB pretty well. So that's the first option. The second option is this. It looks like the same thing. The metal piece is virtually identical in size. Come on, come on, come on, relinquish thyself. Come on, there we go. Comes in 3 pieces. Little spring. That's not what I want to show. Come on. This is not professional. It's got this squishy little spongy bit on top. I have no idea what that is for, so I just kind of keep it in the box, never use it. And then the third option is one that I am familiar with, more so. Come here, you. Come here. Is this. It also has a similar concavity. However, on the bottom, there's this weird H-like hole. So for this one, from what I can gather, is what you use for something like the Maple Leaf Omega Nub. To install the Omega Nub into this one, I'll show, I guess right now. So I don't have an Omega Nub on hand at the moment. However, it's basically the same thing. So on an Omega Nub, if you do have one, they look pretty much like the same thing as a normal nub. However, they have like this, let's see if I can do this. So with the normal nub, it's basically like a perfect cylinder. With the Omega Nub, it's like it has the same concavity on the bottom, like on this metal piece. And it's kind of squared off towards the bottom. So it's basically just trying to wrap more surface area around the bucking so you can get more surface area for BB to pass under. To install, let's just per se, and imagine this is an Omega Nub. The bottom is square, but we don't really care about that at the moment. To install onto this little guy, focus, come on, I know it's bright, come on, focus on my hand. Okay. To install, you basically just drop that little guy. If I can actually manage it. Holy cow. Basically just drop them inside of that little hole. Just get in there. Not gonna be pretty about it. You basically drop them in that little hole. So the round portion, the cylindrical part of the nub will fit inside of that little divot right here. So it's gonna be loose. It is not a tight fit. It is supposed to be loose so it can move around. It's kind of a, from what I've heard, it's like a tensioner unit, so it's not actually like trying to, yeah, I guess I don't know the physics all the way through behind it, but that's how you install it. You put it down on top like that, and it's gonna be loose and kind of annoying to keep track of. That's how you manage that piece. The second one, which one I'm gonna show today, is I'm gonna be installing this little guy. Well, come on, where is it? Ah, camera. So this little concavity piece. It does the exact same thing as an Omega nub. However, I find that this is much more consistent in that, so with the older V1 models, as I'm gonna call them, the slit inside of here, where the arm and the tensioner, or the arm goes to push down on the bucking, the opening to the bucking is a lot larger than the V1s. So I found that the Omega nub would slide from side to side on occasion, thus making my BBs curve a little bit, which was annoying. So went back to the packaging and installed this. All right, on to the actual installation. Sorry for all the yipper yabber. So to start with, you're gonna want, obviously, your barrel. This is just some random barrel that I found in a used parts bin at my local airsoft shop. So basically this is kind of what you want. You don't want like a GBB barrel that, you know, it's different. Anyways, you want an AEG barrel. Then you're gonna want your bucking. This is a Maple Leaf red Decepticon bucking. I don't remember. But basically, you just want to get your bucking. I also know people like specs for some odd reason. So next thing you're gonna do is take your grease and you're gonna try to just rub the outside of it a little bit. This will cause a better seal and allow your BBs to maintain a lot more air velocity. Kind of won't want to messy on there for a little bit. You're gonna clean off the rest later. So then on the bottom of the barrel, usually you'll see these little lines, or this little line right here. See that little shadow of a line? You're gonna want to match up on the bottom of your bucking. There's also a matching line. I don't know if you can quite see it. It's towards the bottom of the cylinder. You can kind of see it moving around. So you're gonna want to line those up, because this actually sticks, the little line sticks out in the bucking. You're just gonna want to gently push it over, not with your greasy hand. I need a paper towel. That'll work. So then you're just gonna want to slide it nice and gently on top. I sometimes press on the top just to try to maintain balance. So the little nub is then gonna be a little bit, sorry, the part that actually pushes down and touches your BB is gonna be lipped, so it kind of has to bump over the barrel a little bit. Kind of feels like you might be hurting it. You're not, you're fine. Then you want to take your fingernails, I think, and then drag it down the top. Basically just want to get that little patch. I'm so sorry, never done this before. Want to get that little patch over the hole and matched up. So I'm just gonna try to get that in right now. Come on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, maybe not use your nails. I just ripped my bucking. I'm not too bummed though. It's like, it's a really old bucking. Me. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. This one is for sure going in the trash. I do not care. Option 2. Go for a really old bucking. This is a Maple Leaf yellow. I don't remember if it's Autobot or Decepticon. Tomato. They kind of all work for me. So this one's been used quite a bit, so that one just kind of slid right on. Probably not what you want, but it'll fit. It's pretty snug fit in there as is. I'm gonna grab my paper towel again. Let my hands clean. And then, all right, so once you have the bucking on top of the barrel, you're gonna wanna then put a little bit of lube along the bottom side, not on top of the bucking, come on. Not directly on top of the patch that touches the BB, or that's over the hole of your barrel, because you don't want your, hop-up bar, for lack of a better word, to slip around. But you definitely want to put some grease on the outside all the way else around it. Helps with keeping the air seal, making sure BBs get maximum air volume, maximum power, I guess. Sorry. So the next thing, you're gonna want to take your barrel, and then you're gonna want to line up the top, so the hole that your bucking is gonna be so the top of the barrel is the portion with the hole where the patch goat sits into. That's where your BB is gonna touch. You want that facing up towards you. And then you're gonna wanna put the hop-up unit also facing up towards you. You just wanna slide this on in till you basically can't move it anymore. And then you're also gonna wanna make sure that the patch is facing up towards you and the arrow. So on my bucking, you can kind of see where the patch is all the time, and it has a little arrow. So as long as your arrow is pretty much in the center, like center line of your barrel or of your hop-up unit, this little line, you should be good to go. You won't have any BBs curve if you have it pretty centered. So next thing is, this one's always tricky. You're gonna want to take this little spring. They should come with extras inside of your packaging with your bags. You're gonna want to stick it inside of this piece. There we go. So it's a pretty tight fit. So if it doesn't go in all the way right off the gate, it's fine. It's gonna grip it and it's not gonna come out. Now, well, I mean, if you grab it, it's gonna pop out, but it's not gonna pop out on its own. So yeah, I just want to put it in that hole and it'll stick. Next part is sometimes this little orange slot will not be inside of, so this little orange cylinder that looks like a hop-up thing, I forget the name, I'm so sorry, little hop-up bit, you're gonna want to put that inside of this hole on top of your piece. So this is your completed part that you're gonna want to have assembled before you put into the hop-up unit. Okay, so next part, you're gonna want to take your little guy, little assembly. You're gonna want to line up the spring with that little circle. There we go. That little circle there's a little circle inside right there. I think you can see it right around here. So you're gonna want to line up that spring with that little circle. I can't really do it up close this time. I can't see or maneuver. Just gonna want to put it on top like that, and then kind of hold this piece down. Hold it down kind of flat. Then you're gonna take your little arm, this little guy. It's a really thin piece of metal with a hole through it. So you're gonna want to take it, you're gonna want to make sure that, two things, that the hole is facing up. So like this little screw hole, not the thing that you can see all the way through, that's gonna be from side to side. So you're gonna want the screw hole up and this little notch facing away from you. So you want the barrel pointed towards yourself and the little notch pointed away from you. So then you're gonna slide in a little part, if I can manage to get it in there. Come here, you. Oh, come on. Kind of just slide it in there. So you're gonna want to slide it in to, I don't even know if I could show you. Inside of the gear, or inside of the wheel, there are little grooves. And you're gonna want to get that little piece into the groove. The little notch part, I just got it in there too. Oh, come on. That little notch, you're gonna want to get that into the groove, because that's what allows the wheel to push down on the arm. So once that's installed, you're gonna want to take this itty bitty, teeny tiny little pin. It's got a little slot in the top and little ring around the outside. So you're gonna want to take this, your pin, and you're gonna want the part that has this little tiny cut. So it's like a little circle. It's like they took material out. It's for where you can use your fingernails or another small instrument to pull this out. So you're gonna wanna make sure this is facing out towards your right. And the little slot facing up towards you, or facing up through this little hole. You don't want it flipped upside down or on its side. You want it facing up. So you're gonna wanna slide that in. Kind of push it in there. Can't really, I mean, I can see it. I don't know how well you guys can. But for mine, you can see a little tiny circle through that hole. It's where the little screw, you see a little circle in the hole where the screw goes. So next you're gonna wanna take your ever so tiny, and I mean so tiny screw. And I use the Nav kit, and I use an H.09 Allen head that I found that pretty much has its perfect fit. So then you're gonna take your little screw, reverse twist once till you feel a slight bump, just to make sure your threads are in line. And then if you don't feel it, you should be fine. And then I might be this is a different kit with a different head. What on earth, little guy? Why are you lying to me? Not the right size. Why? Okay. Still an H.09, or H0.9. Good grief. Try that again. Yeah, there we go. That one has a perfect fit. No idea. Thank you, Nav. Then you're gonna want to tighten it. Don't go over tight. I said it's a perfect fit. It's not, I mean, it's close enough. Just don't want to strip it. You want it tight enough to where it doesn't come out on its own, but you also don't need it to be like cinched. So that is how you install the top portion. So now if you turn the wheel to however tight you want it, this arm should be pushing down on top of the little block unit. And then inside, I don't know if I can show it all that well. It's weird. Okay, why does that look strange on the inside? Okay, I've got a little bit of derbis inside of there. I know it's debris, but derbis is more funny. So there's a little bit of shrapnel in there. Yours should not have it, but what I wanted to show you was that you should start to see that your bucking is coming down evenly on top. Yeah, so there should be a little like concavity. That's where your BB presses against, and that's how it gets its spin. So I'm gonna go ahead and zero this out once more. I might need to go back in and get another bucking. Anyways, come on, refocus please. Thank you. So next you want to install this little white piece. This prevents twist inside of prevents your barrel from twisting inside of your unit. So basically you're just gonna wanna make sure that these are lined up, which these should be lined up if you installed the barrel correctly, making sure the patch is straight up and the arrow pointing pretty much down the middle of, well, the top portion of the barrel. So you're gonna wanna slide this on, and you can make it soft. You kinda have to like mosey it back and forth, maybe twist ever so slightly. You do not need to do much at all. And then it just kinda should, in theory, just kinda find those grooves, just kinda sit together. And if it doesn't fit like completely smooth, like if you take your finger, kind of like rub on top of it, and if you still feel like a slight bump, you should be fine. I'm just a guy who just wanted to make a video to help some people out, so I'm not claiming to be an expert in anything. So that should be fine. Next, you're going to take your this little brass piece, slide it over your barrel. You want to put it right into there. It's going to be a snug fit. Come on. Come on. There we go. So you just want to push that brass bit inside of the barrel. It's just more stabilization. It's just going to keep your barrel from sliding or bouncing around, like shifting. And the last bit, So normally this comes with a spring. However, I seem to have misplaced mine, so I just use an O-ring. So normally you put the spring on top like this. Obviously it's not as much trouble. Oh, come on. The spring is much better, in my opinion. It's just I don't know where it went, and I don't want to buy another one, but the O-ring works just as well. You also typically have a spring up on top. Again, I lost that. Still doesn't hurt me as bad, but I still recommend you put it in. And that's your barrel. Then you just simply slide it in the top of your gun, like so, making sure it's flush. And then top portion, install it onto your rifle, pin it up, come on, there we go. And then it shouldn't move inside. Crap, I don't have a magazine on me. One moment. Not my normal mag, but it works. So, put your mag in, and then as long as you don't see your, so if you shake your magazine, push your magazine forward and backward fairly rapidly, this should not be moving at all. It should just be completely stationary. If you find it moving, I've found that it causes feeding errors. I'll only feed like every other shot if it's moving, and then I have to like push my magazine forward, so then it pushes this back, and a whole heap of nonsense. Making sure that this doesn't move. And that's how you install MAXX hop-up unit. Thanks for watching, and see you later.